Please be advised that in order to foster quality discussions in each episode, we will spoil the stories in each game and text we talk about. Good news is, 90% of the titles we cover are old enough that many of you might already know all about them. That said, we do encourage you to play and read before listening.
Listen up now, Vagabond, get ready for arcadebookshop. Vagabond, play a game, check it out. Don't be lame, listen up now, Vagabond, get ready for arcadebookshop.
I hope, by the time this episode is out, your future self, Caleb, has hunkered down, purchased some kind of additional gaming system, and you've played some of the newer games that people want to hear us talk about.
That probably will not come to fruition. As of now, I got a new controller to play Steam games.
Yeah.
Something.
But what kind of Steam games can your computer actually handle?
Some good ones.
The ones that are like 16-bit.
Ones that are not as graphic dense as Memoir Blue was. That lagged.
Which wasn't even that graphic dense.
No, it was not.
I'm surprised you could play that, to be honest. I mean, that seems heavier than I guess it's small, but I want to be able to play new games. And I want you to be able to play them. I know you don't have time, but listen, I barely have time.
You could play them, and I can just live through you.
I guess that's the plan.
Or you could buy me a new game system. And then I probably still won't play them, but you could buy me some new game systems.
You know, I did get my stepdaughter a Switch for Christmas. I guess I should have thought of you first.
Yeah, you really should have.
Yeah.
Jerk.
Yeah, I didn't get you anything.
I would get a Switch, but I'm about to drop like $700-800 on a new mixer for my podcast. So I don't really.
Well, while you're doing that, you should just buy one for our podcast as well, right?
2 mixers.
Yes.
One for your personal use at your house.
Yeah, just for that.
When you're not in the studio, like my studio where we are right now, with the extremely blinding, super hot ring light.
Was it confusing? I want you to buy me a mixer.
What kind of mixer? You didn't say I had to get you
the same
mixer.
One that you're getting.
Well, here's a thought, Bryce. If I'm getting a new mixer, what would I do with this mixer? This was the mixer that Joe Rogan used on the JRE podcast for a number of years. It's a nice mixer. You could have it.
Yeah, I guess
it malfunctions, though, sometimes, like a lot. But it might be better at your place. Maybe it just needs cleaned out.
I'll make do until you buy me the other one.
All right, so you buy me like a PS5, and I'll buy you a new mixer.
All right, I'll get you like a Switch because it's like $200. But make that that way I don't have to spend as much money as you have to spend on me.
I'll buy you one of the discontinued mixers.
Whatever, as long as it still works.
Yeah,
fresh out of the box.
Yeah, gently used.
But Caleb, enough with the bull crap. So far in this show,
no bull honky here.
We've done this cold open and meandered into the introduction of the game with a half-ass explanation of why the video game and the book in the following episode go together.
Right.
Going forward, I don't even know what episode this is. It's probably like 16 or something, or maybe more. Going forward, I think we should get straight to the point about why our pairings are paired. So the people really understand why you should play the game and read the book together.
This almost sounds like what I've been suggesting from the very beginning.
I understand that. I also feel as though our meandering conversations are interesting, but I suppose there's a small chance that it's not interesting to everybody for the full 35 minutes that we talk about nothing.
That's plausible.
Yes. So, we're talking about StarTropics today for the Nintendo Entertainment System. And 2 Mondays from now, we are talking about The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. And here's why. Here's why, everybody. The key items or themes for our pairing decision for this book and this game. Yeah, I mean that's one of them.
Aliens.
And you can add here, but
Absurdity.
I think this is all of it. Yeah, you're like reading off my notes, I think.
Comedy. I actually can't see your notes. My microphone's directly in my view.
Well, I said
So suck it.
they're both sci-fi, and they have alien abductions. The humor is probably pretty similar, and the cultural references are probably... I'm only like a quarter of the way through the Hitchhiker's Guide right now, but I would imagine, right, it has like little cultural jokes and stuff.
Sure, why not? One's British, one's Japanese. Why not?
Yeah.
Same thing.
So those are the things we're going on. Sci-fi, humor, and culture.
And zaniness.
Yeah.
Wackiness.
Yeah. I think that like goes under the humor, like the zaniness, sarcasm, absurdity. I think that all like goes underneath the bracket
Comical.
of humor. Yeah.
Funny.
So that being said, welcome to Arcade Bookshop. Welcome to Arcade Bookshop, where we talk about video games and their literary counterparts for all of you who love to play and to read. Thank you so much for listening and joining us again today. I'm Bryce Yoli, and as always, I'm here with my pal and cousin-in-law, Caleb James. Today we're talking about this great little game called StarTropics for the Nintendo Entertainment System, released December 1st, 1990. StarTropics is about a high school-age kid named Mike Jones going to visit his uncle Dr. Jones. When he arrives at his uncle's home, he discovers his uncle has gone missing. He's armed with a yo-yo by the chief of his uncle's village, and he goes off on his search.
He's got a yo-yo. He's on a search for his uncle who's missing, Steve Jones.
So he goes off for his uncle's search for his uncle's whereabouts and the mystery surrounding it, using his yo-yo and various weapons found around the world to defeat the evil creatures who get in his way.
Is it really around the world, though? It's just a couple islands.
It's a video game world.
Yeah, it's a very small world.
That's how I feel about it. I mean, maybe it's just the one part of the world, but I always feel like...
It has an endless repeating ocean map.
Is it endless?
Well, if you just go one direction, you just keep repeating.
Yeah, then I would say that's the whole world.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And during the adventure, odd details are unearthed, suggesting extraterrestrial involvement around his uncle's mysterious disappearance.
You've only started drinking your black canned beer, coffee.
I've only had a few sips.
Are you drinking the coffee beer?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've only had a few sips. You shouldn't be stumbling over your words quite so much.
I usually don't talk this much.
Really?
On the podcast.
Oh, okay.
That was a joke.
Okay.
But I think it's also true.
Zany. You're zany. You're a zany guy. You're wacky.
So, my older brother actually turned me on to this game because he said it was probably his favorite NES-era video game, which is funny because I don't recall ever seeing this game.
You just don't recall him at all.
I don't recall.
I have a brother, but I don't recall
It's funny
him.
he said that because I don't recall him.
They call that schizophrenia. He was there, but he's not really there.
It's funny that I say that because I don't have a brother.
Weird.
No, I don't recall ever seeing that cartridge in our Nintendo game box or cartridge box, like our full collection. I've never seen it before, so I don't know where he played it, but I get it. It was a fun game, and I also get on the other side, I also get why it wasn't a commercial success initially, but it is now a cult classic.
Yes.
So, what were your initial thoughts on StarTropics?
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's
By the way, one of the reasons I think it wasn't a huge success was because it wasn't released in the Japanese market. It was only made for Europe and the United States of America.
I was gonna get there. Did you find that in your research today?
Yeah, I read a Wikipedia article. It took about 3 minutes.
Yeah, me too.
I played this game, to be fair, how many months ago?
Like one?
No, it wasn't 1 month ago.
1.5?
6 months ago. A couple years ago. I don't know. This year was a lot happened.
I mean, when this airs like 6 months ago.
Shut up. They don't know. They don't know. I played the game.
Cut that out.
It was a fun game. Fun game. A little annoying. A little redundant. But it was okay for a Nintendo game. I liked it.
Tell me more about that.
Well, let's see. You travel these islands and you talk to some people, like an RPG. It was okay. But then you go into the underworlds and you have to do these puzzle-like labyrinths, and they were very, the controls suck. I like the controls.
Yeah.
And also, a lot of the things were a little confusing, and they would just have stupid shit like, oh, if you go left here, you just exit the cave, and you have to go back in and start all over.
Yeah.
It's like that cheap shit that Nintendo used to do to make the gameplay longer.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't actually make the levels longer or more intricate. You just have these cheap cop-outs where it's like, oh, I fell in a hole, and now I'm on the very first level and have to start over again. That's a classic Zelda trope. It's like, why are we doing this?
It's like, oh, here's the first of our constant references back to our first like 3 episodes. It's kind of like in Deja Vu. You take that one turn and you'll, without even knowing it, you're gonna fall into a pit or something.
Die.
And then so in this game, sometimes you just walk through a doorway and you're dead.
Yeah. Game over.
You have to start the cave all over again, the dungeon. But I will say, all of those negative things aside, I felt like this was one of the first original Nintendo games I've ever played that just hooked me basically from the start. And I don't know if you felt that way at all, but I really liked it because it was so simple, and I felt like I grasped it very, very quickly, like everything you needed to do. They didn't like overburden it with an irritating inventory like in Earthbound, or any like weird combat stuff you had to like figure out. That, anything that was time intensive to actually learn how to play the game before you start like really enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, the towns are a manageable size. There's always a manageable amount of people you have to talk to figure out what you got to do next, where you got to go. You can get straight to the gameplay and continue on expanding the story after each dungeon or island you get through. And the game is broken up into chapters, so it's kind of like
nice,
it's kind of like when you're reading like I don't know, like a Stephen King book. You always know like every like 6 pages it's a new chapter.
You could take a nice break there.
Yeah, you feel like you know about how much you're going to play. I mean, not to say that all the chapters are the same size or difficulty, but you know about how much you're going to play-ish before you can take like before it's a reasonable spot to take a break. I always like that.
The only thing I really got stuck on in this game was, I think, one of the water levels. It was like, where the fuck do I go kind of deal. It took a little longer to figure out, but...
Was that like early on?
It was a submarine level. Or a dolphin, or I think it was a submarine where you have to like go under these platforms.
Was that when you were inside the whale?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I got a little bit stuck there.
It was fun, but it was a little annoying because I kept like covering the same areas over and over just to find like the one spot I missed.
Yeah.
Which is not really a fault of the game. It's supposed to be a challenge. It's just one of those things as an adult. I'm like, I don't want to spend this much time on this little level.
Yeah, right.
I just want to fly through it and beat it.
Real quick, though, you mentioned the movement, like how the controls suck. And I read so much in my my slight research before doing the show about how people hate the controls in this game. And I
get used to it.
Yeah, like I actually didn't mind it. I think you have to get used to the controls in like any game for the most part. But I get like, because the thing about it is...
And it's only on the levels, like when you're doing the fights and stuff. It's not the overworld.
Right. And it's like, it's kind of reminiscent, well, not reminiscent because it came before, but think Resident Evil, since we already talked about Resident Evil, how that has tank controls. It's kind of like that, only like 2D.
You turn and then you go.
Right.
Like you can't turn and go at the same time.
Yeah. So like, and even if you just hold the button down, it's gonna be like a delay before he starts actually walking.
Which, to be fair, the game did implement some boss fights where that's a component in the fight where you have to, like, the challenge is jumping block to block when you have to do these weird turning kind of. So they the mechanics weren't just a flaw; they were used for a reason. Whether you like that or not, that's up for interpretation. But for me, I mean, I got used to it. Wasn't a problem, though. I could see it being really irritating. Like, especially the first level. I was like, oh, what the fuck is this? Like, come on.
Yeah, I think it might have been the second chapter where you fight the octopus. No, it's not the octopus thing. It's earlier on. It might be like the third chapter or something. It's like a fire boss of some kind, I think. You have to like jump around platforms on the left side, and then you have to go over to the right side
you
and
have to hit
buttons.
Like,
That took me so long to figure out, it drove me absolutely nuts. But I figured it out.
Some of those boss fights were relentless until you figure out what to do.
Yeah, but that was like another. I mean, they're all honestly good examples of the movement like being very like measured based on the way they styled.
If it was normal mechanics, all those fights you would just fly through them because you would just go, oh, button, circle, button. But those like, oh, it's like hop, stop, move, hop, stop, turn, hop. Like it was irritating, but it was purposeful.
Yeah, it's rarely like you can't figure out what to do. It's like you can figure out what to do. It's just a matter of kind of doing it. Like,
though that was a problem with old school games. Not so much anymore. Though you will come across the game with these issues, but fighting the controls, like when the challenge is the actual controls, that's usually a sign of a bad game or a game that's not very well made. Yeah, it's like because a lot of times they take games such as StarTropics that people really like, and I don't know if they did it with this one, but some modders will actually fix the controls, and then all of a sudden it's just a fun game. Versus you play the original, it's like, fuck, the biggest challenge is just being able to move.
Right.
Which is always really... If you watch any of the angry video game nerds, usually his episodes have games where the controls are the biggest hindrance. And it's like, that's cheating almost. It's like the only challenge is the controls, not the actual gameplay. Sucks.
Yeah. Right. It's stupid. Well, as I played StarTropics, I think the best way that I can explain it to listeners who maybe haven't heard it or haven't played it is that it's kind of as if Legend of Zelda and Earthbound had a baby. Would you agree?
I concur.
Word. And for the record, whenever I take notes for a podcast episode, I write them as I play the game or read the book. And then when I'm fleshing them out for the show, I do some research online. And I made the connection to Zelda and Earthbound before I ever did any of the online research where everyone in the world says the exact same thing.
Yeah, stop bragging. It's not very hard to come up with that if you played both games.
I feel proud of it because I only just played Earthbound this past year.
Listen, pride is a sin. Stop. Been reading Dante's Inferno and the Purgatorio, and I understand you can't be proud of
the same thing.
No, you're proud of something you shouldn't be proud of. Stop it.
I'm ashamed that I came up with that myself then.
Yeah, you should be ashamed. You should be humble. Humility. That's the first step towards divineness.
It just felt good because I didn't even know about Earthbound until the last year.
Because of me.
Right. But
this whole thing is probably my fault. The games.
Yeah.
The podcast.
Screw you.
The books. All of it.
Damn it.
But the video, that's his fault. I didn't say we should have video. You did.
Yeah, this is a massive waste of time. It took us like 25 minutes just to set this bull crap up.
We had two cameras going.
And
one
you're
facing
not watching this.
No, we had a camera facing him, one facing me. That's normal stuff that's on my podcast table. And they're like, well, that doesn't work. And then we're like, we'll use one. And then we'll fucking change the lighting. And then we'll do all this for the two people who watch this on YouTube while everyone else just listens.
Yeah, so you two people that are watching this on YouTube, just want you to know.
This is all for you.
We had about 15 minutes where I was like, turn that light on, turn that light off. Turn that light on, and then turn that down a little bit. You know what? Turn the lights over there on, then now turn them off. And it just went on and on and on. And the end of the story is you can see us now.
This is the Drunken Pen Writing Podcast studio. It was never meant for video. If it was, I would have things hanging from my ceiling for the cameras. And I would have the switcher where it just automatically goes back and forth. And I would have all this cool tech stuff. And I'd probably make a lot of money. And I don't want to put in the effort.
I think if you actually, we're not here to talk about this.
Shut up. I don't want it.
But I just want to say, I think if we actually invested in the equipment, like the quality equipment, it would be effort to set it up and then it would be done.
Yeah, but then it's like, well, this has worked out pretty good. How about we rent out a warehouse? Or how about it just doesn't end?
Well, Caleb,
and then those two listeners and viewers on YouTube are going to be like, wow, this is a really quality podcast. Why don't they get more views?
It'll pay off because what we'll do is in order to first pay off the equipment that we invest in, we will start renting out your studio.
My studio.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're doing it here first.
Yeah,
in my home.
And so will every other podcast in the area. They're going to rent out your basement.
So I want people running these dirty relationship podcasts and all these other gross podcasts to rent out the studio in my house.
Yeah.
I want these people that I don't know in my house.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Just like
I'm not charging a fuck ton of money.
Just like, I don't even remember if we were recording when you said that, but just like how you want the Son of Sam guy to come to your house.
Yeah, we weren't recording that, but there's a guy, he's a doctor. I haven't emailed him back as the recording of this, but by the time this comes out, maybe he's already on my podcast. But he interviewed David Berkowitz, the Son of Sam, like, I don't know, fucking million times. And he wrote a best-selling book about the guy and all this stuff. He wants to be on the podcast. I was like, well, maybe David Berkowitz in 2024 is on parole. If he gets out, maybe I'll just have him on and have him come to my personal home where I live and sleep and eat.
Yeah, and I pointed out that it would be nice for Caleb to give him his address and all of his personal information so that David Berkowitz feels comfortable
coming to my house,
coming to your house, and like feels like he's at home and can just kill whatever he wants.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man.
Yeah.
To be fair, that would be kind of a cool idea to not get killed by David Berkowitz, but to have a studio, like we rent out a garage or something, or a small building. I think a garage would be more for our budget, or maybe even just an office somewhere, and just make a nice studio and then charge people to use it.
Yeah,
but I don't know anyone in this area. We'd have to go to Pittsburgh for people that have podcasts. And are they going to want to rent out a studio? Probably not. Probably get nobody. Probably be a huge waste of money and time.
Right. Anyway.
StarTropics is a fun game.
So what we was saying is like Zelda and Earthbound, and it has a very similar exploration to Zelda. That was a really hard cut back into our topic, but so now we are going to talk about StarTropics again after digressing for like 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
Don't explain the digression. Just go into the StarTropics.
Okay, now I am talking about StarTropics again.
We are back on track.
All right, it has very similar exploration to Zelda, especially like the original one, but I think like Zelda 2 or something like that. I don't know. Anyway.
The games we should be playing for the podcast.
Probably.
Which are awesome.
So the only difference is that StarTropics is more like confined and minimalized, but it feels, to me, it's like in a good way. It's like I'm playing this game that feels like Zelda and feels like Earthbound, but it feels actually manageable. I don't have to spend 35 hours like trudging through, getting to the end.
StarTropics is like Zelda 2 in the overworld, and then it's like Zelda 1 in the dungeons.
Oh yeah,
so it's more zoomed in, but it's similar to Zelda 1 in the dungeon or any normal Zelda game. Zelda 2 because in the dungeons it's becomes a platformer, but the overworld is almost like an RPG. Terrible game. I didn't like. That was the only Zelda game I did not like.
Is that the one that was called Link's Awakening?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they remade it, and I think it's actually decent.
It could be decent. Like it had promise.
Yeah, it was for 3DS, I think. I have it.
Everything's like on a Switch, and I can just play all these fun games. Fucking dork, geek. shithead.
Every game episode, it's like, I can't fucking win. I have to feel bad about the fact that we're talking about a video game.
Because we're adults. We should be doing adult things. And here you are just, I love video games. Well, you know what? Our listeners love video games. That's why they're listening. So you know what? I'm not going to besmirch them. Just you. Because you should be writing. But they don't write. They just want to play video games.
Who has a book coming out next year?
Yeah, book coming out. And then have done nothing since. Yeah, you have a book coming out, but then you just quit writing.
I didn't quit. I didn't quit.
When's the last time you wrote something?
I just the day before yesterday, I drafted notes for a poem.
Notes. You wrote notes.
My notes are like a very, very rough poem draft.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I write them in my phone, and then when I'm actually writing and fleshing them out, I put them in a Word document on my computer.
Did you get in the New Yorker?
And neither did you.
No, okay. All right. All right, buddy. Okay. June 18th,
Anyway,
keep an eye out.
Oh, my God. June 18th. What, $417 per poem?
That's before taxes, so I don't know. I have to figure out how to... well, that's actually... I think that's under the reported tax limit. Isn't it $600 you have to report income?
I think it's different now.
I don't fucking know.
I think it's like, honestly, I think it's like 100 or something.
I'll cross that New Yorker.
It's very low
I'll
now.
cross that New Yorker bridge when I get to it.
Yeah.
I'll just have them pay me through PayPal and I won't report it at all.
Right.
That works for everybody.
See what you got to do.
Yeah.
Anyway. And then in terms of Earthbound, it has the sarcasm and storytelling, which is what I like the most about it, I think, because the game is fun to play, but it is also fun to read the dialogue and the story that pans out, even though it's as like weird and bizarre as it is.
Everybody's always yanking your chain.
Yeah. And like telling you to get the bananas out of your ears or something.
Yeah, weird shit like that.
And
then there's art with him with bananas in his ears at the end.
Yeah.
You beat the game.
We're bringing that up again later because we gotta discuss that. But wait a second.
All right. I'll wait for you.
Just because I'm talking, even Mike Jones, the main character, don't you think he's like just like Ness in Earthbound?
He has a baseball cap, doesn't he? And a yo-yo.
I don't think he wears a baseball cap, but he's a baseball player.
Yeah, he's a baseball player.
Yeah.
So maybe he is Ness, and they just ripped him off. Or actually,
well,
when did Mother come out?
I don't know. Well, like the first one. I don't know what date it came out.
I'll look it up.
Okay, well, and then this is the other thing that we always bring up and refer to our early episodes. We're talking about Earthbound. I think the two things we talk about constantly are Deja Vu and Earthbound.
1989, Mother one came out. When did this game come out?
1990.
So, rip off. Actually, I don't know if Ness was in. I don't know if Ness was in the Mother. I don't know anything about that one.
No, I think there were two different things. I mean, two different like ideas. I was actually reading this. If I still have it up, I could look at it. No, it's too much of a hassle. But this person wrote something where they were talking about the differences between Ness in Earthbound and Mike in StarTropics. Because it's really a similar. They have similar. It's kind of similar. It's just a similar concept, like Japanese RPGs based on American culture, you know. Yeah. Your silence just threw me off. I thought you were going to respond, and
I thought you were going to elaborate. I was waiting for the.
Well, anyway, I guess my thought was just that, the characters are similar. So I like that about the game, and the sarcasm and the storytelling. But while we're still talking about gameplay, again, I just like how simple it is. You navigate the overworld and you travel to the different islands, explore the forests and caves, graveyard and a crypt, and different waters and stuff like that.
All the classic NES levels.
Right, yeah, pretty much. You start with you get a
That was my
yo-yo.
elbow. That wasn't farting. Wasn't my bum.
Making a fart song.
It's my kimono rubbed on my new chair too. That's another thing I gotta buy. My chair's broken.
Yeah. So how about I pulled up to Caleb's house to record this, and he walks out in his kimono to my car. Doesn't pay me any notice, and walks past me to his car, gets out a case of beer, opens my back door, and just throws it in there.
I have a lot of beer that I need to get rid of, so Bryce just gets it.
Anyway,
I didn't like the graveyard level. Confusing.
I want to talk about that too. But you start with a yo-yo, right? And I have a question. When you played it, did yours call it a yo-yo?
It's called a star.
Yeah, so did mine. That's what mine said. But it used to actually be called a yo-yo in the original form of the game. But I guess yo-yo is actually a trademark name.
Yeah.
So they had to change it to star.
Really dumb. And then I just got a shotgun, so I just use that for the rest of the game.
A shotgun?
Yeah, shotgun.
You didn't get
Double barrel shotgun. Just blew the fuck out of everybody.
Well, the lesson there is that 15-year-old kids should have double barrel shotguns.
Agree or disagree? This game would have been better if it was Contra. Like if you were played as the characters of Contra with guns. Why the dog just came blasting down here in the rush and he's just standing there looking off into he's not even looking at us, he's behind the curtain. Now he's gonna go rip up the fucking garbage in the bathroom like he likes to do.
Sick.
Hey buddy, you wanna be on camera? Come a little closer, then I might be able to see your head. Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
Hi.
On the DPW podcast, the listeners really enjoy when we'll be having a discussion, and then I'll always make like this really hard point, and then all of a sudden he out of nowhere will just start howling in agreement or disagreement. Usually disagreement. So yeah,
So
guns, Contra, shotgun.
So while I'm petting
Yo-yos.
this pup, yeah, they call the. Oh no, you said Contra, yeah. I would say it would be more interesting, but it would make it too easy. I think.
You would just destroy every boss in a matter of seconds. I think. Game over.
Except you get that laser towards the end of the laser guns towards the end of this game.
Yeah,
and
you
it's still
do.
hard.
Well, they increase the difficulty.
Yeah,
as they should.
Right. But yeah, you get a yo-yo, and that's like your main weapon. And every dungeon you're in, you collect different different weapons.
You get webbed feet,
and you collect different weapons, and you get like a throwing star, a slingshot, baseball bats, laser guns.
Similar to Earthbound, actually.
Yeah, it is like because
the progression of. Do you get a baseball bat? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, so same like it's Earthbound. I think you start off with a baseball bat and then you get a yo-yo.
Right, basically. So like there is like a very striking resemblance to NES in that way. But that's kind of the only way that it character-wise, I guess, that's kind of the only way that it resembles Earthbound, aside from the sarcasm and like the silly storytelling.
And a submarine.
Oh, wait.
You get in a submarine in Earthbound and you go across the ocean.
Do you? I don't remember that.
Yeah, you remember you fight a Kraken?
Vaguely.
You have to go inside the big guy to get the submarine.
Oh, yeah.
How do you forget?
Because it was a yellow submarine, right?
Yeah.
And it was, yeah.
It's very similar.
Right. And then the yo-yo though is called the star because yo-yo is trademarked. That's the only game that actually gets upgraded and you have consistently.
Yeah. I don't know what you want, bro, but you're staring into my soul.
He keeps scratching my backpack and making noise.
What is it that you would like? He's just motionless, just staring at me like a gargoyle. It's very unnerving. What the fuck? You all right? Okay. Okay, buddy. We have nothing for you. We're talking about. He does not like StarTropics. When I was playing that, he was actually down here just upsetting me.
Really?
He would just come up and just like scratch me and be like, "No, play it no more." I mean, he does not like the game. He doesn't like conversation about the game. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Well, I like this game.
It was fun.
So my next thing, which is going to lead to the end of our gameplay conversation, I think.
Hey, I will handle this guy real quick. Dude, the fuck? I don't know what that was about. He's usually much better behaved.
Crazy dog.
I don't know how he opened the door.
Yeah. Sounded like
He does that. He just like he pulls out a thumb out of nowhere.
That's what she said.
Okay.
I liked how the overworld is. I thought it was really unique compared to almost. I mean, maybe I'm totally wrong here, but I thought it was unique compared to most older games. Because even though it's super simple, even the overworld has a bunch of puzzles and stuff. Just like the towns and the dungeons do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like a lot of the time, overworlds in any game are...
Just about getting to point A to point Z.
Yeah, it's just like a map, or honestly, if you want to simplify it, it's like, it's just like another it's like a complicated menu.
Yeah.
Really. You're just yeah, exactly. Like, getting from choosing place to place that you want to go. But in this one, it has features just like the dungeons do. Like, if you're on land, you eventually figure out that there are hidden areas when it looks like it's mountains or rocks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually walk into it, and it turns into a tunnel, and then
there's a lot of little puzzles you have to solve to get around.
Right, and you'll find hidden heart containers, which is also like Zelda.
Rip off.
Right, in those places. Or also, if you're in the submarine, there's these little, whirlpool things. If you go into them, you, go underneath the land a little bit and come out another side. And it kind of, they, almost, I don't know, it's like it teleports you from one end to the other. Or, same thing with, forest areas. So, if you walk into certain trees, it doesn't show it apparently, but if you walk into the edge of the map area that you can walk around, if you just walk into the walls enough, you eventually find the places that are hidden and not clearly walkable areas.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool because that makes the whole game something interesting and not just you finish a level and you're back to the menu.
It's not just about the dungeons and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I would say the one thing that's missing from this game today, if you're playing it like I did, well, like either of us did, an emulator or on Nintendo Online.
The letter.
You read my notes, or?
No, you have the letter that came with the game that you're supposed to dip in water and it reveals a code. You don't get that. I think if you get on Switch or something, it's in the menu. And there's an animation.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, that's what I read. There's an animation of dipping it into. You have to go to a menu to look it up.
I didn't even know that. I heard about this game. Well, I didn't hear about it. I heard about it from my brother, but I listened to a podcast about this game, and they talked about that letter thing, and so I knew about it already. So I knew to expect it because you have to either have the internet or that letter to even get past a certain point in the game, because you get the code and then it gives you coordinates or something like that. You can use the submarine to get where you need to go.
I didn't look it up, but I solved it. How? I'm confused.
No way.
I didn't look up any code, so I got something. How did I do that, Bryce?
I have no idea, because it's literally impossible.
Wait, what was it that you needed the code for?
You give it to... Wait, let me look it up. I don't want to get it totally wrong here. Well, I don't know. You give it to Navcom, the little robot inside the submarine. And I don't know if that's the first time you use the submarine and that's the only way to get it going, or...
Yeah, you put the code in to get it working.
Yeah.
So how did I get it working without looking up a code?
I don't know, because it's a totally random code, and there's no context. Like, they purposely made it so there's no context to figure it out.
I remember hitting just a bunch of numbers.
Maybe you, like, completely... I mean, that's something
That sounds
that you
impossible,
would do.
but yeah.
It sounds like something you would do. Just
that
like
sounds
you beat
ridiculous.
Die Hard the first try.
Without doing any...
Basically.
Without knowing what I was doing at all.
Yeah.
I still don't know how you're supposed to actually beat that. We had a whole episode on I don't know how you're supposed to actually beat the game properly. Like, I bullshitted my way through it.
I because
I remember sitting there for a while and I was like, because I tried it and it didn't work. I just hit buttons and I was like, oh. And then I was like, I must be missing a clue. Walk around the island, talk to people, and then I just went back and I just remember hitting more buttons and it was only like three. I think it was only 3 numbers, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I just landed on them because I was like, okay, I guess it works.
Well, the thing is, 2 of the numbers are the same, so you could have easily done that, I guess.
Yeah.
But there is no context for you to actually solve it. So maybe you just pulled a Caleb and just complete
Solved it on
happenstance beat the entire game with your eyes closed.
Yeah, because I didn't
asshole.
look anything up on the game because it was pretty. Because
You know what?
I stubbornly
You're a piece of shit.
I stubbornly make it. I'm very stubborn when it comes to NES games. Where it's like it's so fucking simple. I can't look it up. I shouldn't have to look it up. It's an NES game. What am I, an idiot? So I won't look it up, and then I just stumble my way through like a savant, an idiot savant.
Yeah, I've just been thinking about it lately, and you're a fucking asshole.
To be fair, you've seen me do this in person, so it's not like it's just I'm lying or
I
making
know.
it up. You've seen me just, he solved that for no reason at all.
Yeah, you're blessed or something.
Like Mr. Magoo, I'm just navigating a world blindly, but I'm just hitting every possible death on this side, death on this side. I land on the platform.
I
somehow.
completely don't understand.
The opposite of you, who just struggles with every aspect of a game and dies over and over and over.
Unbelievable. I don't know.
I remember when I was a kid growing up, there were a few games where I actually fucked up the game because somehow I bypassed certain codes or puzzles or certain parts of the game that shouldn't have been skippable. And somehow I bypassed them, and then I was like, what do I do? And I get lost, and then I have to like backtrack and just like break the game. And then many games too, even as far as like GTA San Andreas, I remember breaking the game to such a level that I found out how to navigate the underworld of GTA. Like all the like I got like if you swim underneath to a certain point against a rock, I remember you can go under the level and then you can just cause ruckus underneath the game, and you can see all the secret stuff that's hidden.
You should have been
a game tester. Yeah, I thought
was
about
say a strategy guide writer,
yeah.
because you figure that shit out without even fucking trying.
I always do. I always just have this weird habit of just like if it's some glitch in the game, I always encounter it. I don't know why.
And it's like the same thing as a difference between the way you read and the way I read, because you just like go through it and you pick up on everything you need to and more. Whereas I read and I'm like, I'm gonna be really deliberate with the way that I read, and I'm gonna like really look for what they're trying to say here.
And then we do a podcast on the book and you completely miss like the most obvious thing.
Yeah, and then I'm talking about Dracula, and then I'm asking you about sex for like half an hour.
Well, I remember in Ocarina of Time, I didn't even know there was like a special fish you can get when in the fishing level. I just liked the fishing level, and I was you put on the iron boots, and I think you get in trouble for cheating or something, or maybe it's like a sinking lure. You get in trouble for cheating. But there's like this legendary fish you can get. I forget the Hyrule something or other fish.
Hylian,
yeah. And I think I got it pretty early on when I first started fishing. And then I was like, oh, that's a cool fish. And I think they put it in a tank or something. It's been so long since I played that. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I wonder, like, there must be bigger fish then, because, you know, you got that one so easy right off the bat. And then I just played forever and never got any, like, you know, oh, you got a 10-pound fish. That's a nice fish. And I was like, oh, eventually it was just like, this is stupid. But then I looked it up years and years later, and apparently that's the big like that's the impossible to get legendary fish. And I was like, how the fuck did I get that?
Makes me so mad. I try so hard. I put in about 3 times as much energy, and I get like a quarter of the results. I just don't understand what it is about you that you can do those things without even
magic.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever played a game that I really struggled.
oh.
So when you
Well,
talk
good
about
for
your
you.
struggles with these games like Die Hards, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? How are you struggle?
It must be nice living a life where everything just comes naturally and easy, and you don't have to worry.
It's pretty great. It is pretty
Yeah.
great. Yeah. It's like, getting the New Yorker without trying is pretty great.
Yeah.
Just write a bullshit poem, and they're like, it's the best thing since
Speaking of which,
Flaubert.
you know what I've been thinking about?
Yes.
How you're a fucking asshole.
I've heard that. I've
Have
heard
you?
that from you, actually. Quite
Yeah.
a few times.
Anyone else?
Mainly just you.
Good.
Most people like my sunny disposition and
Yeah. Yeah.
how great I am at video games, apparently, that I don't ever want to play.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Why
Okay.
do you have so many notes on this game?
It's a good game. Do you have any like parts of the game in particular, like just gameplay wise, that you would want to bring up?
I was annoyed by the glacier stuff. Like having to go under the glaciers. It was a kind of cheap puzzle. Just waste of time.
Why can't I remember that?
It's near the end. It's like you go under these big ice blocks and you suck to another one. You had to find like the right. I've solved it very easily, but it was just like annoying that you had to like do that for so long.
Glacier. I can't remember this.
You don't remember the ice shit? It was the overworld. You're in the submarine and you have to like solve the puzzle to get to the final level.
Wow,
That's just glaciers. Did you put StarTropics glaciers?
I wrote ice level.
Okay.
Are they actually glaciers?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what you'd call them.
No, that's not coming up. I can't remember, but
How do you not remember? It was a huge chunk of the end.
I don't know.
Like you had to go through all the whirlpool, or I don't think it was whirlpools. I think you just dipped down under the different color sections, and it would shoot you out at another area, and it was just like a big puzzle.
Oh, wait.
It was there was like ice. I'm assuming it was ice.
Oh, no, wasn't that when you're like in the That was like when you're in the escape pod or something like that, like the crashed thing? Or maybe even in the spaceship or something?
No, I think it was the submarine.
I don't remember.
Let me look it up.
All right. Well, I think the first thing where I got like legitimately stuck, the first part was, you mentioned it a minute ago, was the
piano.
No, I figured that out and I like
I
that.
figured that out and made me feel real smart.
Right?
Because, what was it, fa sol la ti or whatever?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I got it.
You know what though, Caleb? Pride is a sin.
You are the sinner. I am a humble man.
Oh, you said you felt good, which is pride. So
I felt good and a pleasurable.
if you're feeling good, you have to stop that.
I felt good in my trousers. I felt invigorated. A little bit tumescent.
Tumescent.
I can't find it either.
Nasty.
Why is it so hard?
I don't know. It's probably because it's not real. Maybe you dreamed it.
I hope not.
The part that I got legitimately stuck on was the graveyard part. Did you get stuck there at all?
Yeah, I got. I just kept fucking getting irritated. Like you just kept going to I kept going to the wrong places. I don't remember.
Well, I went through. I forget if you have to or not. I went through that dungeon in there like 20 times.
Yeah, that was one I went through a lot.
Yeah. And I forget why. I feel like I have the memory of a squirrel when we're talking about these games, and it's partially because I didn't just play them. I was a couple weeks ago, but I just remember you have to like go through it and get something, and then you have to go through it again at least one more time. But the problem is that if you're not cheating, like if you're not just using save states, I think you have to go through it a couple times to understand how the doors work and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. And then and then you have to. There's a certain weapon you get or a certain tool you get, like a lantern or something like that, right?
Oh yeah, because it illuminates the ghost, and then there's one that illuminates like
Yeah,
the dark. There's two different things.
yeah, something like that. And
I did like those like little puzzle things that you had to figure out. That was cool. But for a while, I kept getting fucking hurt by nothing. I was like, what is happening? How do I open the door? And then I was like, oh, I was supposed to. It's because it was like I think you had to hit select or something weird to get the thing to come up, and I didn't even know I had the.
Oh yeah, and then, but like once I did figure that out, I was like, okay, I'm doing everything like I did it the first couple times right, because it like I think like where the ghosts show up, it kind of indicates which direction you're supposed to go. But at the very end of that dungeon, something, I don't know, I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out the last thing I was supposed to do, and I kept doing it wrong every time.
Really?
And, yeah, and then like my brother gave me a hint because he was playing it at the same time as we were.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me a hint. Like he kind of told me like what room it was in that I was supposed to be looking for something. And I was like, this is it, isn't it? Like, I'm doing it. I don't understand. And then he finally just like, he just like gave me the answer eventually. And I was like, oh my God. It was one of those things. It was like, I thought I had tried everything, and it was literally the only thing I hadn't tried yet.
I hate that. Oh yeah, because I remember I kept ending up in like the same or similar looking room. And I was like, where am I going now?
Yeah.
I was getting really irritated. Yeah, that part I did not like at all. I was annoyed.
Yeah, that drove me nuts. Other than that, I don't think I got like stuck puzzle wise anywhere. But I did get a little bit confused, I think, you were mentioning the part in the whale earlier.
Yeah.
How like you have to go there's whirlpool stuff in that too. That gets a little bit confusing. Other than that, it just got like it was, you know, it was the like you said earlier, it was the Nintendo thing where all these levels are pretty short and kind of manageable, but you make a couple mistakes and you just have to start it over and start it over.
And there's no hints to where to go or anything, so it's purposely made so you'll make mistakes and just go under fucking the wrong direction and just keep circling, and then it's always like, oh, I didn't see that one spot. Yeah. Irritating.
And then it really just comes down to I don't feel like doing this fucking over and over again. So
cheat.
Save states.
I use save states on that level.
Yeah,
I was getting annoyed. And well, even just on like I started using the save states at the beginning of a lot of the dungeons. Once I figured out, sometimes it'll shoot you out and you have to start over.
Yeah,
it's like I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
I don't have the time to do that. So
that's where I'm using save states the most.
Because it's not even like you're dying or anything. It's just, I have to restart for no reason.
Yeah,
because I went the wrong direction. That there's no indication to go, and I didn't want to use a map and really cheat.
Or like how to get all the way to the end and then you die, and it's like I don't want to do the entire thing that I know how to do over and over again just because.
Especially if it's just like this shitty boss fight, and it's like, I lost because I didn't figure out how to beat the boss yet. Now I know, and I have to keep restarting and restarting.
Yeah.
I don't do all that.
Yeah, so it's that thing. Like I'm sure we've said this like 1,000 times at this point, but we're probably gonna say it 1,000 more times.
We don't have to.
Well, we will.
You will. I won't.
I will, because it's worth saying, and I feel like it's as long as save states and emulators exist, everyone's gonna have like a little bit of guilt about it. Just that's like the legit thing. Like if you just don't have the time to play the same thing over and over again, like imagine just playing the same level of like Candy Crush 1,000 times. It's kind of what it feels like.
It's terrible.
Just because there's a boss after a level of Candy Crush that you can't beat.
That's why the old Nintendo games were so relentless, because you couldn't really save.
Yeah.
Like it was just, you have to do this whole thing in one go.
Yeah. And
you just play over and over and over until you were able to do it in one go. And it's like, it's not worth it.
Too much. But if you're a kid, it's fine. It's just, man. Yeah. So then the only the first time I think I felt like I started being really challenged was that alien, and he's like a large, the first like alien looking alien.
Yeah.
He's like the larger one that he shoots like needles in 4 directions. You remember that guy?
No.
Okay,
I don't think he challenged me at all.
dude. Eventually, I have to fight multiple of them, but the first time he showed up, it took me forever. I think I had to use save states there, actually.
He shot needles at you and you couldn't jump him, or?
Yeah. Let me see. Let me look this up on my computer.
Oh, okay.
Well, just like anything else that I look up about this game, I can't find it.
You son of a bitch.
Well, anyway.
Hey, there he is with bananas in his ears.
There he
So
is.
odd that they thought that was the most hilarious joke.
All right. Let's talk about the story. Unless you had anything else for the gameplay.
No.
You never have anything else.
Why do you need more? You covered everything. You have this extensive list of notes.
You know, the thing is, I don't need more. I just feel like you never want to talk about the game.
I already aired my grievances with the controls. And I said I didn't like the ocean maze.
I know, but it's like as soon as I say, do you have anything else? You're like, no.
I refuse to answer any more questions.
Well, all right, fine. Let's talk about the story. This story is very much along the lines of Earthbound and its absurdity and humor. And on the surface of it, you're just exploring tropical islands and defeating strange monsters. Turns out the monsters are all evil aliens and you're fighting against an alien invasion.
That's what it does.
Yeah. But it includes, just like Earthbound, it includes an ending that's altogether perfect, ridiculous, hilarious, and absurd. But I think the analysis of this game, if there's one to be had, not really an analysis per se, but the conversation, I think, is really around how, like, it's Americanisms, because it's a Japanese-made game about Americana, I think.
Yeah, and it's kind of goofy.
Yeah.
Everything's cola.
So, yeah. So, like, really, it's about, like, the references they use to American culture and how they choose to employ it. So, to begin with, the main character is Mike Jones, who is searching for his, which I've said 1,000 times, but he's searching for his uncle, who goes by Dr. Jones, who just happens to be an archaeologist.
Indiana Jones is a similar character.
My brother told me that it references stuff like that, and specifically said Indiana Jones, and I was like, huh, and I kind of didn't believe him, but I confirmed it because the internet says so. So I believe him now.
No lies on the internet.
Nope, none. So direct reference. Also, Mike is swallowed by a whale, which is, I mean, I know that's not necessarily American culture, but that's biblical.
Yeah.
And I mean, I probably, I don't know. I guess I was going to say, I feel like
I'm putting my foot down. I don't think that has anything to do with America because whaling is huge in Japan.
whaling is huge, but
Whale culture is huge in Japan.
okay, but
I think if you looked into Japanese folklore, you'd see nothing but whales. Nothing but people being eaten by whales.
Don't you think one of the most
Rabble, 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 rabble.
one of the most popular biblical stories, probably in American culture, is that one because it's an easy one to teach kids?
I think Jonah was a dunderhead getting eaten by a whale. Stupid. How did he see? How'd he get past the acid?
Calebism, dunderhead.
He's a fucking dunderhead. I don't know, Bryce. I don't know if you can say a Christian religion that started in the Middle East has anything to do with America. You're stretching it. You're reaching your arm. You're like Michael Jordan in Space Jam.
All
I'm
right.
reaching for it.
All right.
Reaching. Stretching for the truth.
Anyway, So the story goes, Mike's swallowed by a whale. He finds his uncle's assistant inside the whale. The assistant gives him the code to track his uncle's location, which it works kind of like coordinates once you're in the submarine again, until you find the alien escape pod, and which like crashed to Earth, I guess. And shortly thereafter, he finds his uncle and fights the aliens in the spaceship.
And there's a
but
robot.
Yeah, so that
Just like Rocky 4.
yeah, that so like there's a whole bunch of yeah.
Talk about America. Rocky had a robot in Rocky
Happy
4.
birthday, Polly.
Yeah, he did that one.
There's a whole bunch of other like funny cultural references, and some of them make sense, and some of them are kind of like, is that supposed to be an American thing? So the first one that's very obvious from the get-go is that, like, at least I thought so, every town and city you come across ends in cola,
Yeah.
which it has to be that it's like referencing like Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola and stuff being such a commercial thing.
Yeah.
I did see a Reddit post that suggested that it's actually derived from native languages that name places like Pensacola, rather than being Americana for Coca-Cola. But
Disappointed now.
no, but do you believe that, really?
I don't. I don't.
I don't.
I refuse, actually.
Because there's like, I'm pretty sure there's lore about this being an Americana game. Like, they specifically...
Well, yeah, it's not even
It
made for the Japanese market.
It wasn't even put out in Japan. It never was.
I don't even think Japanese people could say the word cola. I think they have trouble
Oh,
because the L.
we won't go there, but yeah,
Well, I'm
maybe.
just saying.
Yeah.
Like, why would they make it a word? You know, if you're going to have every town end in cola and they have a problem saying cola,
That's a good point.
why would they have it? They wouldn't.
Yeah. So beyond that, baseball's a theme. The codes that you get sometimes are, I know there's one of the codes is 1776, which is
America.
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And I could be wrong, but is there a code 1492?
Columbus.
Is
Fuck yeah.
Is that a code?
Yeah, that was a code. I believe.
Yeah. And then there's a point where you have to like sink this ship to go, which I thought was funny. You have to sink a ship just to go past it. You couldn't just move the ship.
It was lodged.
Yeah,
It was stuck.
All right. And then when the ship is sinking, My Country 'Tis of Thee plays the entire song, by the way.
So it's a lot.
You have to sit there and wait for the song to end, and then the ship sinks.
Another NES classic trope is just some unskippable bullshit that you just have to sit through forever. Like, why is this taking me 5 minutes?
Are yo-yos an American thing?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so yo-yos. I think any kind of gun is an American thing. So laser guns. Alien culture is pretty American. It's not exclusively, but it's pretty American. It is because of Roswell. There are more alien sightings in the U.S. than anywhere else in the world.
Checks out.
It's true.
Makes sense.
And yeah, as you were saying before, Rob the Robot. Navcom looks exactly like, which I guess it's not really American, I guess, but it's in terms of like commercialization stuff, just like Coca-Cola. The robot inside of the submarine that operates it, basically, it is exactly a lookalike of Rob the Robot, the NES control. What did it do? Did you have one?
It did bullshit. Like, I think, I don't know, like went down and hit the button or something. Forget.
Like,
I never had one of those.
I thought you told me you had one before. But
No, I had the trackpad.
trackpad.
You know, the running. You run on the thing, play the track and field games.
Oh, we had
I played Mario like that, by the way. It was not easy.
Really?
Yeah.
We didn't have this is kind of a different point, but we didn't, in terms of robots, we didn't have Rob the Robot, but we had 2XL. Remember 2XL? It was just like a cassette player, but it looked like a robot.
Oh,
And I think it
stupid.
Do you remember that?
No,
Oh,
I don't remember that shit.
here, let me show you.
I don't want to see it.
You're gonna see
Every
it.
time you look something up, something dirty comes up. I don't like it.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. Look at all those naked gray aliens. Ugh. Sick.
Wait, that's not what I want to look up.
Ooh, naked gray aliens.
No, not 2XL size rope. What?
Look up the robot. Look up the robot.
Robot. Remember that? This and this. There's like a cassette player.
I've never seen
and
that in
everything.
all 37 years of my life.
Oh, come on! It's from your era.
My era. I don't think it is.
Yours and my brother's. Yeah, it had these like red eyes. It
Look.
was neat.
I had the power arm thing, whatever that was called.
Oh, really?
It sucked. We
Yeah.
used to just use that to play fight. Like we didn't even play the games because it was so hard. Had the trackpad, had the gun for the shooting games and stuff. Duck Hunt. Had the bazooka. Had a shit ton of the Game Boy accessories to a ridiculous proportion where it looked like you're a transformer. Like you're just holding a fucking whole 1970s Ford computer room in your hand. But I did not have whatever that hunk of shit you just showed me was. No. Did not have the cassette robot.
He was cool.
I might have had the cassette robot. I don't remember. It actually does kind of look familiar almost.
So-
Almost.
So tell me, are bananas supposed to be an Americana thing in this game? I cannot get a clear answer on what the bananas are about.
You put them in your ears.
But it's not even just that. Like there's a banana theme to this game.
Well, bananas come from South America, don't they?
Yeah, but that wouldn't be like, Americana, would it?
No. No, it would not.
So,
But
it
this
seems
is an
like-
island-themed game, so maybe
Yeah,
it
I
has
guess
something to do with
so.
islands. I don't know.
It's just weird because it's like there are so many banana things in this game, and I can't figure out why. And I've been like Googling what's with the bananas in this game, and nothing comes up.
I don't really get it, man. It's not even funny, really. But they went all in on bananas.
That's where I feel like it's that's where it was like, I mean, like I don't know if there were American writers in addition to the Japanese writers, but I would imagine some kind. But
Nope.
like that's where it seems like the Japanese writers thought that was American humor. Bananas in your ears.
Huh. Yeah, when I look it up, it just comes up with people fixing StarTropics, and they just use the picture of the bananas in the ear. Get those bananas out of your ears. Steamed bananas. Debug mode screenshots. Bananas.
And like not only is there this big thing about Mike having bananas in his ears, there's a town, there's like a city or whatever you're in in one chapter of the game where there's like a princess or something, and her name is Bananette.
Yeah.
And she's like in a coma or something, and I forget how you wake her up, but eventually you get something to wake her up, and as soon as she wakes up, she's looking for a banana cream pie.
I don't know, man. I got no answers. It's weird.
I know. It's
Hardcore banana loving.
And I was like, is a banana cream pie an American dessert? Like a very American thing?
I think they just thought it was a funny joke and ran with it.
Maybe.
Someone's like, "Oh, would be a good way to plug your ears up? Bananas." Stupid. It's the worst thing to stick in your ears, probably. Not the
And-
worst, but it's close.
And the end of the game, you get that stupid picture of
Him and the bananas.
It's like,
it's like, why? Why are you putting bananas in your ears?
freak.
And why do you look way different in the picture than you do in the gameplay?
Oh, man. But I think the best part of this game is the ending. Story-wise, anyway. Because you find these 3 magic cubes late in the game. You fight the boss on the spaceship, and then when you bring the 3 cubes together, they go through like a transformation, and just like that, they turn into something like a dozen elven children.
It was so weird, and the picture from that is they're special looking.
They're actually beings from the last planet the aliens destroyed, and they've been preserved in those cubes to save their race from extinction. I don't really get how elves suddenly come into play in this like sci-fi story. Aside from being some other cultural thing that I can't grasp, except maybe because of like The Hobbit or something, or Lord of the Rings, but because they did kind of look like that.
Yeah, they did. And their planet was Bananadrome. It was weird.
Oh, was it?
No.
I was gonna say. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't put it past you.
Banana planet.
Banana drone. But it is actually a cool ending. If you like,
If you like nonsense, yeah.
Aside from the absurdity, because in terms of the Americana they were driving at, it shows like the might of a modern Western hero, especially a high school kid, which makes it like additionally relatable for the people who are actually playing it, because they're probably, 12 to 16-year-old kids, or maybe even older, and the it's an appealing story for nearly any kid at the time. At the time the game is released. But the odd thing, once again, Caleb, is that the elven children were all hungry and asked for a banana cream pie.
Why is it always a cream pie? There's no other, like, banana pudding is not a thing, or any other kind of banana. It's cream pie.
Because the Japanese are...
different kind of humor.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know if it's supposed to be some kind of cliche American dessert, or their humor is just, their understanding of American humor is just a little off there.
I'm going to do some quick research.
Okay.
This might answer any questions we have. Japan banana cream pie.
Oh, God.
Do not ever look up Japan banana cream pie. The very first thing that came up was something nasty. Let me go to the images.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, the images are just pictures of cream pies. No, not the gross kind, unless you don't like cream pies. So just banana cream pies are big in Japan.
Are they?
Apparently, it's a lot of recipes.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. They look really good. I'm going to taste that cream pie. They all got chunks of banana on top. And ooh, is that nutmeg? I love some nut on my banana cream pie.
Shreya just made a banana cream pie Pop-Tart.
I would like one of those.
It's good.
It's very good. But yeah, do not, if you look on the actual, just the first page of Google, not the images, it's nothing but porn.
Yeah, I believe you.
I don't know why we have ruined the term cream pie. Used to be a delicious dessert, and now it's smut.
Yeah.
I hate the internet sometimes.
Yeah.
And then there's
Can't
also...
say anything.
You know what? I don't even want to get into it. It offends me.
Yeah.
As a fan who really loves... Like, I love all kinds of... I like coconut cream pie, banana cream pie... I like chocolate pies, vanilla pie. I'm a pie man. I like that creamy pie. And now you can't talk about it without something like, ooh, gross. I'm like, shut up. Fuck asses.
I just want to be able to say what I want to say, you fuck asses.
Whoa. That's harsh. That's a harsh
I was being
language.
You.
You don't have to be like me.
Well, when I'm making fun of you, I do. But
episode is sponsored by Black Can Beer. Get a can.
You'll never know what it is.
It could be anything. I said at the beginning it's coffee, but coffee stout. But it could still be anything. It's in a black can with a sticker with illegible writing from Bryce.
You're welcome.
It looks like it says banana cream pie. It does not taste like that. So your rating of this game out of 5 stars is?
Out of 5 stars?
Unless you want to be like IMBD, out of 10 nuggets, chicken nuggets. It's not IMBD, but
Nuggets?
1 out of 10 bananas.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. I give it a 6.5 banana.
I think I give it a 7.
It's hard for me to rate NES games because they're very dated in the gameplay. Like the
I know,
original
I
Zelda,
just-
I liked it, but I can't rate it very high just because it's kind of dookie.
Yeah.
It's dookie. It looks dookie.
Well, I felt like I started playing this game, and I was like, at my very first instinct, I was like, this seems like it's going to be a drag. But then as soon as I started going, like really playing for like just a few minutes, it was really fun. And like I said, the simplicity of it really caught me. And I don't think, because I just feel like so many NES games, even if they are simple, they just feel like real, like, I don't know what the word is, like laggy and weighted and
Dookie.
yeah, it's just they don't feel great. And this one sort of has that feeling to start out, but then once you realize what, like, they did everything like deliberately, it's great. And it's not overdone. And it doesn't feel like this, like I said, it doesn't feel like this big task to get through. Eventually it's kind of like you get like in the very last level, I think you're like, okay, I'm ready for this to fucking be over. But I'm like that with any game, so it doesn't really. That's not even really a factor.
Yeah, most games are. Once you get to a certain period of time where it's like, okay, I've been playing this for days now.
Yeah,
Be done with it.
and it's not really a game that you would care much about. I don't think you even can do like a completionist run or anything. So really, you just want to play through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I thought it was fun, and the story was cool, and it apparently continues in the sequel, StarTropics 2: Zoda's Revenge, which I hear isn't to be slept on, and that has like time travel in it. And I always love time travel stuff, so if it's anything like this one, and maybe it references like Back to the Future or something, it's probably hilarious and fun. I hear, there's mixed opinions about it online, but I think generally people say it's still worth playing. But anyway, in terms of this game, I say 7 out of 10.
Oh, banana time.
Yeah. Banana time, Caleb.
Yeah.
Well, what was your favorite part of the game?
I enjoyed the piano. I like the piano part. Thought it was cool.
Yeah, that was unexpected. I did like that.
I liked walking around the towns and villages talking to people, even though they kind of looked hideous.
I think my favorite part was when you have to be turned into a girl.
I like that. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that whole level, actually. Yeah.
That was neat.
That was a weird trend in a lot of those old games, because was it a game we played or I just played that Crystalis or something? There's like a whole level in there where to get in, it's a women's only village, like
You
warrior
played it.
village. Yeah, and you had to turn into a woman.
They actually do that in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, there's so many games where they make you gender swap to.
Yeah.
It's weird. That's
That
like a
actually might
trope.
be something you do repeatedly in Zelda. 'Cause
Yeah.
don't you-
I think so.
well, and like Zelda pretends to be a guy sometimes, doesn't she?
Yeah, like with a big hog.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's how she gets into places, right?
Anyway.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna dress like a dude, you might as well have a big hog, jam a cucumber down there or something. So that's what I do.
The other day I was playing disc golf with my brother.
I don't like that segue at all, but
And,
okay.
We were in the woods and
Go on.
so there's this one there's just one hole of the course where you throw your disc over a pond. So a lot of people that aren't, a lot of people aren't good. They go to play. They're just playing with friends. They throw the disc over the pond. They screw up the throw, and it comes back and lands like right in the middle of the pond. So my brother and I are walking up to the tee, and my brother's like, "Hey, there's a disc right in plain sight, right in the middle of the pond." He's like, "You have a 90-foot pole?" And I like wasn't even I was tired and I wasn't in like the funny space of mind, and I was like, "Nope, not that long." And he just started cracking up, and then I realized that it was funny.
I really thought this story was going in a grosser direction.
No,
You just kept making it sound worse
no,
and
you
worse.
kept like I felt that you kept like expecting it to go in a much harsher place, but it was just
I'm glad it didn't.
it was just a mild but entertaining joke.
My pole's not very long.
Nope, not that long.
I'm gonna start laughing while clacking my teeth. Yeah,
Well.
buddy.
Thanks everybody for listening to Arcade Bookshop.
We have a book recommendation that we're going to be reading, right? Talk about that.
What?
Fucking talk about the book, the companion book.
Oh,
and
recommend.
with, hey, we're going to read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah,
Maybe
well, that's what I was gonna say next, and you interrupted me, you piece of shit.
Damn it.
Stay tuned 2 weeks from now for our conversation about The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. And we're gonna talk. We're gonna
Cream
try to-
pies and cucumbers.
Hell yeah, man! Hell yeah! We're gonna talk about. we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about it just like we did about this game. I think we're gonna talk about aliens.
Yep. Bad poetry.
Probably.
You didn't get to that part yet?
No.
The
not yet.
universe's worst poetry.
I don't think so.
You might appreciate that section.
Probably.
It's
Yeah.
funny.
So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about absurdity.
Based on a real guy.
Talk
Douglas
about
Adams hated his
humor.
poetry.
We'll talk about sarcasm, and we'll talk about bananas and shit, man.
I don't want to talk about bananas ever
Well, we
again.
might have to, but
Banana boat.
if you're enjoying the show,
Banana ramble ham jam.
if you're enjoying the show, be sure to follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
2 guys, 1 banana.
Oh God, Caleb, I'm trying to close the show out. Stop being gross. If you like listening to us shoot the shit about video games and books, please tell a friend to listen. Personal sharing is the best way for us to grow and continue putting out good content, increasing the quality of the show. Please remember to rate us 5 stars and review if you haven't already. You can follow us on Instagram at arcade_bookshop and TikTok and YouTube at Arcade Bookshop. If you have any game and book recommendations, you can DM us anywhere or email us at arcadebookshop@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your cool ideas for the show, so we don't have to think of them all ourselves.
And DM Bryce pictures of bananas.
Yeah, just as many as different ones as you can find. So we already talked a little bit about it, but how's the EPW going?
We're changing the name to 2 guys, 1 banana. It's going to be a different kind of podcast. We're just going to review dirty movies. That's it. And it'll be great.
There you go.
We'll make $1 million because that's what people want.
So like it's gonna be a hard cutoff. So like you're gonna talk about Son of Sam, and then the next episode you're gonna talk about like weird banana shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Hardcore banana stuff.
So look forward to that, everybody.
As far as the Drunken Pen Writing Podcast goes, it's been going gangbusters. We've just completed our recap episodes for 2023. Usually those are just boring, us rambling about, we read this amount of books and we're writing this stuff because we don't want to put any effort in when people aren't listening during the holidays. And then the new year, we're going to have guests and I already booked some guests. But when this episode drops, fuck, we might not even be in business anymore. Who knows? Might be 3 guys, 1 banana. I don't know if you want to get in on the banana stuff. But check it out at DPW Podcast where you see things on social media. Just Google it. That's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you all again for listening to Arcade Bookshop, and maybe do as we do. Put a smile on your face. Keep a controller in one hand. and your book in the other.